If you're looking for properties to rent in Canada, you have multiple kind of options. There are different kinds of buildings and places where you can live. The rents are different and the buildings are also different. So let me show you around what all different kind of options that you get for renting your house. See this. This is one of the option. This is called a detached house. Detached house means there is no neighbor on your left, on your right, and at the back. Yes, there will be neighbor at a little distance further away, but not having any common wall. So that's why it's called as a detached house. And this is considered as one of the most premium option, or or I would say the most costliest option in terms of renting or buying a house. Now see this house. This is also a detached house. It's just as it is quite smaller in size as compared to the previous house that we saw. But it is also called as a detached house. Obviously, rent of this house would be lower than the rent of the previous house that we have seen. Next, you have this kind of a house. This is called as a semi-detached house. Why? Because half of the house is free from the neighbor, and here the another half house is free. So these are two different houses. They are attached with just one common wall in between. So this is called as a semi-detached house. This comes next from the detached house in terms of cost. The next option that you have after detached house and semi-detached house are these. This is called a row house or a townhouse. It is also known as a town home. So the difference between this and semi-detached or detached is that these houses are continuous in line. See, so they have left wall and the right wall common with other houses. That's why this is called as a row house, a house which is continuously in row. See, these houses are in a row, right? So that's why these are called row houses. And then you have buildings like these. These are condominium. In short, these are called as condos. So these buildings have a lot of facilities in them, like indoor pool, gym, sauna, play area, party halls. So these are called condominiums. Here individual units are there available for rent, and the owner also live in some of them. Now this is another rental option that you have. These buildings are known as rental apartments. There will be one company which will own the whole building, and it will rent out each of these individual units to individual tenants. So there will not be a single owner of each of these units. It will be one company owning the whole building. Whereas in terms of a condo building, there will be a building management. However, each of the units inside, right, each of the say 2 bedroom 2 bathroom, that unit which you rent out, that unit is owned by individual owners. They rent out their places, so you deal with that owner of that unit, whereas there will be a building management company. However, in apartment, as I said, everything is owned by one single company. There is no one owner that you deal with. You deal with that building management company for the whole building, for your unit, and for everything. And the last and the cheapest option that you can get a whole unit for yourself is like this. This is the basement. You see, this is a house and they have a basement has about 2 feet of window. So this is where you can get the cheapest rental accommodation. So most of the new immigrants who don't have a job, who don't have a place, they tend to prefer this basement. You get all the things here, all the facilities inside, but then it is a basement that is little inside the ground, although you do have an opening here for some light. But yeah, this is the basement option, which is the cheapest that you can get. All these kind of places that we saw, apartment is the only one which is owned by one corporation which runs the whole building, whereas everything else is owned by individual owners. Now in all these everything else apart from apartment, you will get at least basic set of appliances. For example, you will get a fridge, you will get a dishwasher, you will get a stove, you will get washer and a dryer, that's the laundry facility. So these are all the things that you get. In a lot of them, microwave will also be there, right? And all of these and their maintenance will be the owner's responsibility. Obviously you should also take care of each of them. Now in apartment, it is since run by a corporation, so they decide what kind of an apartment it is offering in the market for rent. So they will have basic appliance only. For example, they will have only a fridge and a stove. That much you should get in all kind of apartment. In most of the other apartments you will not get laundry facility like washer and dryer. It will not be there, and it will not have microwave. It may not have dishwasher also, right? So, and that is why the apartments are quite cheaper as compared to the condo units or the houses as well, right? So it's your call, how much you want to go for, how much you want to pay the money, and then you can opt for. In basements, you can have everything dedicated to you, like the fridge, washer and dryer, dishwasher, everything. But in a lot of basement, it may be a possibility that the owner or the person who's living on the main floor, right? Basement is below the main floor, so you may have a shared laundry area. So there will be one laundry area, washer dryer, and then it will be decided between the main person who's living on the main floor and you in the basement on which day you will use the laundry, right? There may be some restriction, there may not be some restriction. In many cases, the owner would be the one who would be living on the main floor, and he or she would have given the basement on rent. So it depends upon what is the understanding between you and the owner, and that's how the laundry facility may be shared. Now coming to the cost, how much you will have to pay to rent these places. See, it all, you understand, it all depends on the kind of locality where the house is located, right? The kind of facilities and the amenities available for you. These things matter a lot. However, to give you an idea, at an average level, say in the area of Toronto and the greater Toronto area, which has the city of Mississauga, Brampton, Toronto, Pickering, Oakville, and all these areas. So giving you a general idea, say if you want to opt for a house which may have a 3 or a 4 bedroom, mostly these are 2-story houses. Sometimes you may also get a single story house which is just on a ground floor and there will be a basement. So if you are getting the whole house on rent, including the basement, it might cost you around $4,000, right? Again, depending upon the house and every other thing. So on an average, it might cost you $4,000 a month. Coming to semi-detached house, it will cost you, say, 3,500, right? And coming to row house, it might cost you $3,000. Coming to a condo, say 2-bedroom condo, it might cost you $2,500. Coming to an apartment, it might be a 2-bedroom apartment might be $1,800, and similarly 2-bedroom say basement will also be like $1,700. Now these rates may vary, and now in these days when I'm recording this video, the rent has gone very high, so you may want to add $200, $300, $400 on top of what I have said. And then again, it will depend upon, say, what kind of facilities are there, what is the furnishing of that unit, right? Whether all the appliances are new, there is a new hardwood, or it's an old thing, old setup, everything, right? And then obviously the location also matters, right? If say the location, if the house is near to a public transportation area where you can easily catch a bus or a train, it might be little more costly. And couple of other factors, right? In general, how is the locality, how is the safety, how are the schools in that area? You cannot choose a school for your kid, right? The schooling is free here, and school is decided based on where you are located. So a locality which has a high rank school will have a higher cost attached to the residence there, in whether you have to buy or rent that place. So I hope you found this video informative. The next video I plan to create on how you should go about looking for the right house for yourself, house, condo, whatever, right place for yourself to rent. How a new person who's new in Canada, who doesn't have any background here, how can that person get a house on rent, right? And what are the process, what are the things that you should keep in mind, what are the things you should avoid. I'm planning to create next video on that, right? The best practices of getting a house on rent.